Hi, everybody. I'm Suzanne Falter-Barnes.
And I'm Jeffrey Van Dyke.
And we really wanted to start a conversation. And I really do mean start a conversation that we would like you to add to. Because we were having lunch just now at Casa, our favorite Indian restaurant in the Castro. And that's spelled K-A-S-A, in case you ever want to go there. And we were really getting this hit that we should begin a conversation about manifesting, because Jeffrey's been getting a lot of content about the nature of manifesting and sort of what the new reality around manifesting is. I find this very interesting. I occasionally am talking to him and I get hits, and we were kind of thinking that maybe if I interviewed him and he gave us what he had and I built on it, you would get some hits too, and you might be able to chime in and contribute to the conversation, which, you know, you could do by leaving a comment below on the page that this is posted on our blog.
Yeah. One of the whole points of this is there is no power in one. And as solopreneurs, there's so much one out there that to have community and have engagement and have this conversation where it's like, oh, I get this and you get this and you get this, put it all together, and suddenly we have a whole baked pie, which is
because tasty. You know, we really think we have to have all the answers as, you know, content providers, solopreneurs. We really think we have to know it all, and I don't know about you, but I find that exhausting.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good at knowing it all. That's also the other truth.
Yeah, and that comes actually to one of the points in this manifesting piece is what is the intention?
Yeah.
That's really one of the starting points for me around anything in manifesting is, well, why? Why do you want it? Well, why do you want to bring it out to the world?
Give me an example.
So I could step out and say, well, I have all the answers, and let me try to put it all together to show you that I do.
Yeah.
So that then you'll pay me for them. Or I could say, I'm really interested in this conversation. I'm really interested in this conversation. And here's what I know. Let's further this conversation together.
Right.
A very different intention.
Right. And if we further the conversation together, I mean, one thing that happens for me when I am in a conversation, which particularly one that intentionally involves guided comments, is I get hits while I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
It's like I open my mouth and I'm talking and I get a hit. And it's like an awareness or a expanded view of something. He twitches, you know, we get hits, right? You may have your own little take on that, and I hope you do.
Yeah.
But here's the big question that I wanted to ask you. When people are manifesting, what is happening?
That's a big
to the
question.
best of your ability,
to
the best of your knowledge, and, you know, presumably you're seeing part of the puzzle, not the whole puzzle.
Yeah. So the first thing that I get when you ask that question is they are opening.
Cool.
That they are. It's. I just felt my heart and chest expand and open, and as it's like the gateway to receiving opens. Like yes, me, I'm willing. Right over here.
I mean, you know, that's what we experience when stuff happens. Like my daughter, when she moved to San Francisco, she was like, I was like, well, you can live here for 2 weeks, and then you're moving on. And she was like, oh, okay. Hey, everybody, I need a job in an apartment in 2 weeks. And she got them.
Yeah. So part of that is having a desire and not having any cancellation of your desire.
Right. So what happens with the cancellation of the desire? Because that's where a lot of us get hung up.
Right. So that's usually where we're running old scripts. I'm not worthy of having this. The world around me tells me I can't, and I'm buying into that larger sort of thought process or pattern. I'm scared that if I did have it, I wouldn't be responsible with it.
Lack of self-trust. Lack of self-trust is such an unhinger for us solopreneurs.
And I actually think it's a good thing, because oftentimes when people don't trust themselves, it's true that they aren't quite yet trustworthy with themselves around that thing.
Right. We've seen it a lot with our work building platform.
Yeah.
Because people come into the work and they want the big platform, and then it becomes handed to them, and they suddenly have to like create the body of work that goes with the platform.
Yeah.
And people are worried that they can't generate the work. But I say the work wouldn't, I mean, the platform wouldn't have shown up if you weren't equipped to provide the content.
Yeah.
on some level, you can totally do it or wouldn't have shown up.
So for me, a lot of times when people get in their way or stub their toe or shoot themselves in the foot, it's because some part of them says, oh, I'm not actually ready for this yet. And we can get mad at ourselves and barrage ourselves and beat ourselves up for that. Or we can say, oh, that's information. Let me take that information in and see what's there for me. And if I do that, if I allow that to inform me, what happens is I step into the growth that wants to happen. I step into the growth that builds the capacity to step into the deeper work, the greater manifestation.
So it's kind of a ramping up. And one thing you've talked about, Jeffrey, a lot with me is vibration.
Yeah.
So presumably if you're vibrating at one level, like here, and this is what you're manifesting. So you're manifesting, you know, a $50,000 a year business, but what you really want to manifest is a quarter of a million a year. That requires a much faster, higher, bigger vibration. I'm like making this up, okay?
Yeah.
So how do you go from here to here?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there's a couple pieces I know, and I feel like people, as they watch this, will have more. So here's a couple components. One is why. What's the bigger why of wanting the $250,000 a year business or the $2 million a year business or whatever it is?
Right.
What, as our friend Marie Guthrie says, what cause is it in service to?
Can you explain that?
Right.
Because that is a complex concept, I think.
It's sort of like, what do you care about that's greater than yourself alone?
Okay, so this is a whole new conversation for solopreneurs, I say, and we would really like to hear what you think about this. The idea is that you don't run your business just to bring home the bacon. You run your business because you've got a purpose in life that's bigger than you, that meshes with other purposes out there that are joined together in a cause. For instance, it could be said that the cause of our business is to lead people into greater consciousness and expansion personally through business.
Right.
And that there are other people who do that, Lisa Bowles and Tad Hargraves and Mark Silver, and there's a whole bunch of us who are playing in this conscious business field. And so we're inviting you to consider, what is your cause? You know? Now, if you identify your cause, it's easier to get to that higher vibration level.
That's right.
Yes?
Right. Because when you get there, you're running the $250,000 business or the $2 million a year business or whatever it is for them, for the cause, and the income generation is a byproduct of being in service to that cause.
Oh, that's such a different paradigm, because really, I don't know about you, but I've been a solopreneur for 25 years, and most of that 25 years has been about, how do I pay my basic nut? How do I cover the income I have to cover to just make it all happen? And it only started to, like, my vice grip on how much am I going to earn only started to really lift in the last year and a half, 2 years in partnership with you, and towards the end of my solo business as a platform builder. I would have to say that leap of faith had everything to do with some sense of bigger calling. And I don't even know that I knew it at the time. But this cause-related thing is really interesting.
So that's one. The other piece I would contribute is, on what plane are you manifesting?
What's
now,
that mean?
this is kind of trippy. Mm-hmm. So if you think about vibration is a frequency, right?
Right.
And so in music, it's like how many hertz per second is something beating. In a radio dial, is it like 88.5 or 92.7, or like what's the frequency that you're dialing into? So if this is where you're manifesting and you want to be manifesting here, well, it's simply a different frequency. Yeah. But I would also say, so many of us, when we think about manifesting, think about the physical plane. Right. Like the stuff we want, how many people we want to be serving, how much money we want to be making.
The Mercedes I want to buy.
Anything, right? And it's all very physical. Well, Spirit keeps telling me, when you're on the physical plane, it's really difficult to manifest. It takes a lot of energy and effort, because when things are already manifest, they're already dense. They're in the dense physical. So to push them or move them takes a lot of effort. But if you can go to an ethereal plane, if you go to a plane before it gets to the dense physical, then you can do all the manifesting before it comes into physical, and it's a heck of a lot easier. So I'll give you an example for that. So when I moved here to San Francisco in 2000, I was working with my spiritual teacher, and she said, well, why don't you practice manifesting your life on the ethereal plane so you can just walk into it when you get there? So for the 6 months that I knew I was going to be moving here, I spent time meditating and seeing my life here. And I would visualize myself picking up the phone with friends, new friends calling me to hang out, and feel the excitement of, oh, it feels so good to have these new friends.
Right.
I would see myself putting a key into my new place to live and opening it and knowing it was mine.
Yeah, yeah.
I would see my name plaque on a office and knew that was my job. So when I moved here, the very first night I got here, I ended up going out with somebody I didn't actually know, a friend of a friend, and he said, oh, did you move here for a job? I said, yep, I just don't know what it is yet. But I was so clear I had one. I knew I had one. I don't care if there was only 2 jobs in the whole city available, one was mine.
Right.
And he said, oh, I know the best recruiter in the city. So I called her and she said, well, your resume is all over the place. Goodbye. Click. A week later, she called me up and she said, I just had the wildest job come across my desk. And your resume is strangely, like, perfectly crafted for it. And they're dying to talk to you.
So what happened was you pulled all these pieces together in your mind. You became certain of them. And then all this reality began to shift to suit that.
Pretty much.
So when one talks about the difficulty of moving tangible reality, I experience that when I'm trying to sell or market something, if I believe that I have to push certain buttons and pull certain strings in order to make a certain number of people show up at an event, or in order to make a certain number of sales come in on a product, I have to follow a formula that exists, and the formula will determine my success and my adherence to the formula.
Yeah.
This is a different way of doing it, in which you are living into the possibility that you're serving the cause, you're serving the larger purpose of this work, and you're putting it out there as a really surrendered act to your guidance. And then in the surrendered act to the guidance, you are just doing what it takes to share that work. You're not trying to sell something. You're helping a cause. And in helping the cause, you remove your ego, you remove your personality, and you are no longer coming from that scarce, desperate place of, help, I've got to make this happen or I won't survive.
Right. And when you do find yourself in that scarce, help, I need to
yeah.
survive place,
Right.
instead of trying to push it away, you welcome it. And you say, oh, what is this here to teach me right now? So that instead of like feeling it and pushing it away, feeling it and push it away, now you're in that bind, and that's where you're marketing
and that is actually your first point, which is you're opening up to receiving.
Absolutely.
Now I'm inclined at this point to ask people who are watching this video, what are you getting as you listen to this about the nature of manifesting?
What do you know?
What do you know? Post it right here if you're looking at this on our Facebook page, or if you're looking at this on our blog. What do you know that will help you really connect viscerally to your own ability to manifest? What have you learned recently? What insights is this bringing up for you, or what do you object to and think is actually true in another way?
Right. And the thing I would add to it is one of the things I've been getting is that the time to like manifest on the physical is winding down. And that we're really being called to step into ourselves as creators and know that we create using our thought, using our desire, using our inspiration, and really start creating and engaging in community from that place. So is that resonating with you? Does that sound true?
So this has just been a lot of fun to like begin to probe this thing, and frankly, we're really dying to see what you share with us in your comments, because one thing we're really being guided to do, like now, not tomorrow, but now, which is why I'm making this video now, is we are being called to invite and co-create our work with you.
We're really in relationship with you.
We really want to know what you think and what insights you have. Let's continue the conversation here, shall we?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Take care, everybody. Talk soon.